That's right.
Otherworldlyculture.com.
TheLocalRocks.com. I have to do it.
My God.
Now, don't distract me. An umpire and a vampire square off week after week, reviewing movies outside their own strike zone. Tonight's movies, the 1983 Cujo, and the 1976 Yo Adrian Rocky, starring Dee Wallace, Sly Stallone, Burgess Meredith, Danny Paterno, Christopher Stone, Taylor Shire, and Carl Weathers. Now, two guys who, when choosing between two evils, they always try the one they've never tried before. Tim Kretschmann
What?
and Jeff Miller.
What is going on in our studio tonight?
Yo, Adrian!
I have no idea what I'm in for.
Cujo!
I'm very frightened. Hey, everybody. How is everybody tonight?
We're awesome.
We got a show. We got a show.
Every Thursday at 7 o'clock, Central Standard Time.
Except for maybe next week. We haven't decided.
Well, yeah, we got to talk about that.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
Miller might have to play ball.
So, anyway, everybody.
Oh, camera's on.
We got to what?
Camera's on. I didn't realize it's on yet.
Yeah, the camera's on.
That's crazy.
What do you mean? It's pointed at you and lights are coming out of it.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dead on the Bases. That's Jeff. If Jeff was aged in dog years, he would be fertilizing the lawn instead of sitting in that chair.
Wow.
Jeff is a sports fanatic, and he gives me a sports movie to watch every week. And I'm a horror movie fan, and I give him a horror movie to watch every week. So he gets great films, and I get other things. So, how are you feeling tonight, Jeff? No pain, obviously.
No pain, no gain, baby.
Oh, yeah, wow. Tonight.
But actually, let me just tell a story real quick.
Let's hear a story,
So, right now,
Jeff.
you can't see it with the camera, but my right quad is hurting. I injured myself in softball last week, so it's probably good that I'm off this week.
We think it's often the right thing when you're all off.
Did we do a show before or after my game last week?
We did it before.
Yeah,
and then
so I got
left.
Yeah, and I got hurt.
But you got 2 RBIs.
I got 2 hits and an RBI.
2 hits and an RBI, which is the same thing.
That's because I'm bringing it. I don't even know what I just said right now, but I just said it, so don't worry about it.
So there, that is. All right, and tonight...
Where's Tiffany Shepard? Is she listening?
Oh, my
tonight?
God. Tonight, Jeff is going... Oh, I am going to be reviewing Rocky...
Yo, Adrian!
And Jeff is going to be reviewing...
Cujo!
Oh, my God. Wow, the show became a lot more visual this week. So we're going to get things started.
So let me just say something right now.
Okay.
What if we wanted to do something for this show and we did something more visual?
Like, I'm not going to ask you.
Just ask me. Let's say, like, what? Like, what if we did it live?
I'm going to regret this immediately.
Like, what if we did it live? Like, we did a live
The show is
somewhere.
live.
No, but I know if we did it, like, on remote. And we had a full scan camera of what we were doing. What we did a remote one.
I need to show you some of our old remotes. And
yeah, but I wasn't part of it.
No, you were there. You were there.
I never did a remote.
Yeah, you did, from Horror Realm.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Let's do another one.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's roll, buddy.
It was fun for you, but not fun for everybody involved.
Right. I'm sorry, Tim. Let's
go. That was
go.
kind of the situation.
Hey, happy June, everybody.
Yes, happy June, and a very happy and wonderful birthday to Rich Dalzado.
Yes, happy birthday, Rich.
All right.
And remember, if April showers bring May flowers bring June bugs.
Really?
Well, we have all those cicadas coming up right now.
The cicadas are coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were like, aren't they like a 17-year deal and a...
Yes, there's a 17 and a 13.
Are we going to see that here?
There was some here, but I think it's really big in Chicago. Because they actually, most of the people in Chicago are actually insects. It's a fact.
So it's
All
like
right.
it's like MIBs.
Like what?
MIBs.
Oh, Men in Black. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I'm the horror guy.
Rocky was made in 1976. Jeff will be telling us how long it was.
That's what she said.
Jesus Christ.
Tim.
For the uninitiated, Rocky is the story of a loan shark enforcer that is a washed-up, no-ranked boxer that gets a shot to box the international champion of the world, Apollo Creed. Along the way, Rocky pulls himself together, falls in love, and pounds his meat.
Tim,
what?
Tim.
What?
He does.
That is all accurate.
He does pound meat.
Everything is accurate. And
he actually
I am
broke
saying.
his hand doing that. You know that?
Yes, I do. He flattened out his knuckle.
He did.
His knuckle.
Ooh.
God.
Trivia is going to be tough now. You must have read up on this.
Well, this is an Oscar-winning movie that came out while I was very young. So, yeah, I know some things.
Young? I thought you've been around for a long time. Aren't you a vampire?
This would have been this particular form. All right. So, I was not looking forward to revisiting this film. I always saw it as kind of a depressing flick because Philadelphia, I'm always shocked when they say how much people in Philadelphia love this movie. Because this movie makes Philadelphia look like a hellscape. It's very gritty. There's garbage all over the ground. It looks horrific. And I thought I gave out the horror movies. But when you see Philadelphia in this flick, you're really like, oh my God. Sure enough, like the first scene is so grave, features one of my favorite motifs in film, though. And that's the smoking athlete. He gets out of the ring and immediately sitting there smoking. You know, and I always think smoking must be very important to athletes. That's why baseball is played on a big ashtray.
Okay, I don't.
If you think of it, there's sand all around it, so you can put out your cigarettes.
Okay.
Nice and neat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
What that's there for. So the movie, this movie has a lot of iconic moments. There's the drinking of half a dozen eggs.
Have you ever done that?
It sounds like you might have.
I have. What the hell? Why not try it? So I did.
Raw eggs?
Hell yeah.
I would make.
I did it.
Like scrambled eggs, maybe.
No, I did it. Because scrambled would be awful, but I just did it because I watched the movie. I'm like, why not try it? So I tried it. Nothing happened.
I can't wait until you watch Hellraiser. Maybe you'll try some of that.
Well, wait.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware, I didn't do that just this week when I watched the movie. I did this like years ago.
Okay.
It's true, though.
So there's the drinking of a half dozen eggs. There's the running up the steps at Philadelphia. There's the boxing meat in the cooler box.
Never done either of those.
And then Adrian and Rocky when they're running around on the ice in the one scene. Very iconic scenes.
Thank you. Yep.
You see the photo. You didn't make it.
Oh, no.
I
suggested it, though.
Wow. Jeff suggested a sports movie for once. Anyway.
Wow. Tim has actually enjoyed my movie for once.
It doesn't happen often. Okay.
That's all there's on our hands tonight. Go ahead, Tim.
What I forgot, even though, I said I wasn't really looking forward to this. I thought, this is depressing stuff. What I forgot is how inspirational the film is. It was set in the bicentennial, which is a huge part of what this movie is. That was a time in this country that there was a lot of patriotism, a lot of hell yeah, America. And this movie was about opportunity. And what's kind of ironic is it's a black man giving a white guy opportunity. Because at that time, boxing was all about black athletes, and there really weren't.
Ali,
white
Holmes,
men.
Liston, all them, yep.
Yeah, there really wasn't white men competing.
There really was not.
In boxing. So it was kind of a story of that. Now, today, if you put out that movie, I think it plays totally different. like, oh, there's white privilege again, you know. So
yeah.
I don't think this movie could be made today, but I think it plays today, if that makes sense.
It does.
You know, it still plays well. And one of the things I was thinking about is I'm watching this movie, Bicentennial, right? We're only 2 years away from the 50-year anniversary of this movie.
Really?
Only 2.
Are you sure?
And the USA, yeah, I learned
86,
math.
96,
And
2006, 2016, 2020. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the USA is going to have whatever a 250-year anniversary is.
Yeah. Wait, so
what do you
say
call
our country's...
that? A bicentennial plus 50?
So our 250th anniversary is coming up on the 26th? Or on
in 2020? Yeah, 2026.
Wow. Yep. All right.
Yeah, so it'll be party time in Muskego.
At the local.
Oh, my God. All right, so the set design is really amazing, I have to say. If you watch this movie looking at the set, which, by the way, this movie almost has no musical score. I'll get back to that. But this, yes.
I have something important, and I know that I cannot...
You're allowed to go to the bathroom.
And I know that I cannot say this out loud because I'll mumble it up. This is what a 250th anniversary is. You can read it.
A semi-quincentennial. Semi-quincentennial.
There you go. I bring it. He presents it. We go.
All right. Anyway.
That's what we have coming up in 2026, people.
I hope they come up with something better than that.
Well, what else are you going to call it?
250?
25. Maybe
250!
In the 414.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I didn't touch anything.
Okay.
I didn't touch anything. What the hell?
We need to turn off the alarms.
Okay.
Jeff is in the building.
I didn't do anything.
Jeff is in the building.
But thank you for saying that out loud.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, the semi-sequential. Did I do it right? No kidding.
No, you didn't.
Wait, what was it?
Semi-quincentennial.
Ooh, I was close.
All right. You were. You were within rocking distance of it. I think the more you would practice it, the further off you would get, to be honest.
All right, Tim.
Okay. It's like Tad Savini.
No, I am so got that right now. Stop.
Okay. So the set design, I think, is really amazing in this movie because you look at Paulie's house. I don't know. Did you rewatch it?
Yes.
Okay. So Paulie's house, doesn't it look like every like old person's house in the 70s?
Yes.
You could tell that this was Paulie's parents' house and they left it to him. And they didn't have to tell you any of that.
No.
It even had a black velvet painting on one of the walls. I was like, oh my God, this is everything 70s. At that time, putting in a house, it was just very urban and 100%. All that. And then Rocky's place is the biggest dump I've ever seen. He can't... I don't know. Okay, let's talk about this. Can he sit down in his bathroom? Because when he went in there in one scene, he never sits down. He just yells inside of that room. I don't think he can sit down. I don't know how he does like a proper salad. I'm like, what does he do? Does he run a slide down? I don't know. But okay, here's something that's awesome. Rocky, you know, there's that scene where he's kind of hanging like a monkey bar over Talia Shire. If you look to his left, there's a mattress wrapped around the door jamb, and there's a knife sticking out of it.
I did not notice that, so good for you.
There is, and I'm like, I don't know who came up with that detail to put in somebody's home, but I'm like, this kind of puts a stamp on this thing that this is just a complete and utter death house.
I need to watch this again because I need to watch that scene to look for the Bowie knife that's underneath the bed.
It's not quite a Bowie knife.
What is it?
A medium-sized knife. out of a mattress, a dirty, freaking ugly mattress.
I gotta watch this. I did not see
tied
that.
to the door jam.
You gotta be kidding me.
This is the most insanely ugly thing. We'll have to pull it up.
It's Philly.
Unreal.
It's
and
Philly.
then Mickey's gym, right?
Yep,
we go to Mickey's gym.
Yeah.
It's so filthy that Mickey feels like it's okay to spit right next to the ring. He's just like, rock. I mean, unbelievable. Now, there's almost no score in the movie. However, what they have, they make good use of.
Yes.
And that's a Bill Conti anthem, the Getting High Now.
No, it's not Getting High Now.
I thought it was shot in New Berlin, partially. No? Anyway, but
Gonna Fly Now.
that's to a montage, and I think all the Rocky movies have a montage of some kind. And I thought that was very well done. Then they go into the ring, okay? Like, they get into the ring, what, an hour 30, an hour 40 in the movie? I thought the fight, I seem to think it was a lot longer than what we got.
It's a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour movie. I think 8 minutes of a fight.
Yeah.
It's something like that. It's very, very short. So they do the ring entrances, and there's Rocky in a robe advertising Shamrock Meats. The thing doesn't fit, you know. Like, I mean, they couldn't. There's a painting of him up on in the rafters, and they got his shorts wrong and stuff. It's like they couldn't have pushed it more. That Rocky is just a mess, right? And then here comes Apollo. He's throwing money out the door. He's dressed up like George Washington, going across the Delaware in a float. He throws his hat and wig to the crowd so he can put an Uncle Sam hat.
He's throwing
on.
silver dollars into the crowd.
It's just like, oh, here's the guy that's too poor to get a robe that fits. And over here is the guy that just has so much money, he's just throwing it to fans.
Sponsored by a meat packing company.
Right. Now, really, once again, Jeff gets things wrong. This isn't really a sports movie. It's a 2-hour movie with a little bit of sports. It's really a love film between Talia Shire, who does a fine job blossoming as she falls in love with Rocky, the famous Adrian. Well, she goes from being a complete schlub to, passable.
Wow.
Now, this movie is a star-making turn for Sylvester. This is what put him on the map. He famously held the script and would not allow anybody to buy it.
Correct.
Until he could play the lead role.
Correct.
And frankly, once you watch it, you're like, how could anybody else play it? I'm sorry to say, but yeah, a lot of people could have played this role. He was right to hold the script because it made a star of him. I feel like almost anybody that would have played it, probably, as long as they were credible, they didn't mess it up, I think they probably would have had a big hit on her.
Would they have still won the Academy Award if someone else played the role?
Who knows? It depends.
I'm just saying.
And I don't know what he was even against that year in '76. Yeah. I know it wasn't Star Wars because I think that came a couple of years later.
77.
I
know this thing.
I don't know what this was up against. I'm sure we got some Googlers happening here.
I can Google.
Anyway, Burt Young playing Paulie steals a number of scenes in this movie. In this movie, he's still a pretty awful human being and kind of irredeemable.
He is.
Where later on he becomes the comic relief and it's, hey, Rock, I'm going to buy a robot. He's almost right.
That's later on.
That's 4. That's only 4.
Well, it's 3 away from 1.
Yeah, well, okay.
We can do math.
Yeah, good luck.
Wow.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I've said it before.
You can say stuff out loud.
I think Rocky 3 is the best of the series.
3. Did I give you that one yet?
That's Mr. T.
I didn't give you that.
No,
that's next week. That's
4.
next year.
Next week.
That's next week.
Not next week. Next week is already spoken for. But I forgot how awful Paulie was in this movie. I don't know why Rocky doesn't bust on this cranky cockroach any more than he does. And he should have just beat him into a fine paste. But, you know, he puts up with him, I guess, family, right? Family. Now, Carl Weathers, really...
Mr. T.
No, Carl Weathers is not Mr. T. They're
Apollo Creed, I know who it is.
Yeah, okay. Just checking.
I'm trying to do two things at once here. It's not hard.
Carl Weathers doesn't get many scenes outside of the fight. He's in, what, maybe 3, I think? I remembered in past viewings, I always marveled by how little he's in the picture. But this time, I was really like, oh, he really isn't in any part of the picture. He's got like 3, and they're important scenes, don't get me wrong, because it sets up the conceit for the whole film. But, man, he's hardly in anything. Oh, yes, Jeff?
You can finish your sentence if you want.
The gentleman in the first row.
So, the Academy Award...
I'm taking questions.
No, this isn't a question. This is a statement. The Academy Award for Best Picture in 1976 were up against Taxi Driver, Network...
This beat Taxi Driver?
Yep. It beat Taxi Driver, Network, and then Rocky.
Network, too?
Bound for Glory, and All the President's Men.
Well, the first two, Taxi Driver and Network, those are movies people talk about a lot still. All the President's Men was a political film. People don't watch that anymore today.
Bound for Glory?
Bound for Glory. I don't even know what the hell that is.
That's a very good movie, but it wasn't good enough to...
What is it? You have no idea what that frickin' movie is. Shut up.
I know, but those are... Hey, but you know what?
Taxi Driver, I'm surprised it beat, because that's one... The critics get all weak-kneed about
honestly,
all the time. But this movie is a feel-good movie.
Yeah.
Which is funny because when I think of this movie, I always feel it's depressing.
True.
I always feel like it's depressing because his life sucks.
It does.
The guy works for a criminal.
He does.
He beats people for a living. And I'm not saying that like, oh, he's a boxer. I'm saying like, no, he breaks people's thumbs.
You need to pay me money or I'll beat you up.
Yeah, unbelievable. Now, this was like a superscript in Hollywood. I do sit here and I kind of go, was it all on the page? Was it all on the page? Or was it brought out by him doing
what do you mean?
The role? You know, if this script would have been given to somebody else, I do think it would be successful, but I'm talking about keeping everything else the same. I think Burgess Meredith is absolutely key and crucial to this movie. I think Burt Young is key and crucial to the movie. The performances are great. The set design I already talked about. The environment these characters in is very clear, even though it's not very clean, you know.
I just wonder if, like, again, what you're saying about him playing the part of someone else.
Yeah.
He had the whole script in his mind, so he knew where this guy came from.
Right.
So I think that's what came out.
Yeah, I think and it's also, you can tell, it's biographical. He's basically talking about how he's getting shafted, not getting acting jobs.
And he's got no money, and he's like, I got to make some money.
But didn't he have to, like, sell his dog or something? I thought I read something like that. Or is that one of your trivia questions I backed into?
It's not.
Did the dog have rabies?
The next movie does.
Oh, the next movie, right. Now, by the way, when he comes and he opens up his robe, and my brother's going to just get mad when I say this. When he opens the robe, first thing I see is that big giant patch that says Everlast on his shorts. And I go, you remember when that was a thing?
Yes.
Like everybody was, oh, Everlast. I didn't realize that was from this movie. I didn't remember that.
I've got leg weights that say Everlast on it.
Oh, God. And then, okay, here's another thing. And this reminded me of one of our worst sports movies ever, North Dallas 40. Do you know where I'm going?
No, I don't.
The crowd seemed huge at first.
Yes.
Then they basically, during the fight, they turned off all the lights so you don't see, and they just kept playing the sound effect. And I'm like, It is clear that place is empty. It's absolutely clear. But somehow there must have been, I think, really loud cheering mice in the room, because which, you know, when it triggered Trogdor, that all these mice were just really loud and cheering because you don't see anybody. Something had to make all that noise.
Right.
Which, by the way, I watched a 5.1 remix of this.
What does that mean?
Where it means they put it in the surround sound.
Okay.
They didn't do a very good job.
Really?
I was like,
because
I kind of wish it went back in mono. The only scenes where they did anything was during the fight, and they basically just turned up all the crowd noise. I'm like, I kind of want to hear when he's saying stuff like, come on, keep coming. You know, all that stuff. I kind of wanted to listen to that.
Isn't that funny how they made a movie one way, and now that technology has moved on?
Yeah, they fix it.
And technology moved on, it's like, it's not there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
You're my sports expert. I have some sports questions for you.
Yikes.
Does southpaw really mean, is that really a term that comes from New Jersey?
Well, kind of, sort of. What it is back in the 20s, what happened is that when a pitcher would pitch left-handed,
okay,
in the way that he stood on the mound, his arm was facing south. So he was called a southpaw. So that's matriculated true. All the way through. That's why a left-handed person is called a southpaw. Really? I don't know if it came out of New Jersey. I have no idea. But I know that's where it came from. It came from, it's a baseball reference.
All right.
Because his arm was hanging to the south.
All right. So I have a.
Is that good or bad? Are you happy with my answer or what? You just
that was complete.
It's legit.
It was complete.
It's too legit.
I like that. Oh God. You know what? It's time for a little bit. We got to do our Pauly Shore connection on this
Jeff
one.
Miller connection.
Buddy.
Oh my!
Actually, very close. If you take Rambo, and I believe that's First Blood Part 2, that's where Charles Napier shows up, which if you look at the picture, you know who it is. He's one of those guys you just see in a lot of movies.
Ray Liotta?
A character actor.
Is that Ray Liotta?
No, it's Charles Napier. I put his name underneath it so you can
But is
see.
that Ray Liotta playing Charles Napier?
No, it is not.
It looks like Ray Liotta.
It looks nothing like him. And jury duty goes to Pauly Shore. So only 3 steps, really.
It looks like a lot more, but you're right, 3.
Yeah, so good job there, Rocky, for getting there in 3.
But really, you can't tell me that doesn't look like Ray Liotta.
I can all night long, but we got to keep things going.
Okay, let's keep on rolling.
And we do have horror movie connections out of this movie.
Good.
Are you surprised to hear that?
No, because you are a master of what you do.
Well, I am what you call a master of all the things I do. Here is Sylvester Stallone. Guess what? Do you think he has any?
Absolutely.
No.
What? None?
There are some bogus ones in IMDb. I am not giving him any points for those. They're BS. They're not actually horror films. But Sylvester is in the Hall of Fame.
Cool.
What movie was he in?
Victory.
Very good. Very good.
So here's a question I have to you.
Go.
What do you call a BS horror movie?
Sometimes they
just give me an example.
Declare things a horror movie that are nowhere near being a horror movie. I'm not even, in this case, I don't even think it was like a thriller. It was like stuff I'd go, no, that's not a horror movie.
Okay, all right.
They just miscategorized it. Bastards. Okay, then we got Talia Shire. Okay, Talia. 77 movies. By the way, Sylvester Stallone, only 105 movies. I was surprised to hear that.
That's it?
Yeah, I thought that was low for him.
That sounds low.
Talia Shire, 77.
That makes sense.
She's at a 5.2%. She's made 4 horror movies, including 2 that people actually have heard of.
Like what?
Prophecy and the Dunwich Horror. You don't know them, but a lot of people do. Then we got Burt Young. Now, what do you think? Burt Young's got 169 credits.
With 169, he had to have popped in one or two.
Yeah, he's actually 0.1% more than Talia. He has 9.
Really?
He's been in Tales of the Crypt. He did some of the Outer Limits. He also was in a movie called Blood Beach and in the movie The Amityville Murders.
Okay.
So he must be very proud, and his children as well.
Fair enough, Bert.
Then, of course, we got Carl Weathers. Now, this one, I think you might actually know one of his horror films.
No, I can't picture it. I only picture Happy Gilmore. That's it.
That's it, huh?
Uh-huh.
See, when I see Carl Weathers, I think of one movie and one movie only.
What's that?
I think of Predator.
Oh, he was in Predator.
Yes.
Do you think that's a horror movie?
I do. It's a monster movie.
Seems like more of an action movie to me.
There's a lot of action in it. There's no question.
But still, I couldn't place him there. So.
I wouldn't want that Predator coming after me. I'll tell you that. I like that movie.
Predator's a lot like another word that starts with a P. So let's go.
Okay. Burgess Meredith, 185.
He has to be. He's an old dude. He had to be.
He's an old guy, so of course. Well, I'll tell you the one I thought of
Frankenstein
immediately.
Returns or something like that.
He has been in 12. He's at a 6.5%. Okay. He immediately, when I see Burgess Meredith, I think of one thing.
Oh! I think of something too. Oh, no, I don't. I do, but I don't.
Well, I think of the Penguin.
I do. That's what I thought of. But that's not horror. Shoot.
Right.
Damn.
I think of Penguin, but the other thing I think of is Twilight Zone. He starred in one of my absolute favorite episodes of Twilight Zone called Enough Time at Last. If you don't know it, find it. It's one of the best episodes.
Is it the one where I've only seen a few of these, but it sounds familiar. Is it the one where someone's in a room and they're locked in there with some books or something and they got to get out? Or is it books?
It has to do with books, but that's not the actual scenario.
Maybe I did see it, but I don't remember.
I'm not going to spoil it.
What's it called again?
Twilight Zone is tough to watch
What's
if you
it called
know
again?
the twist.
Just tell me again.
It's called Time Enough at Last.
Oh, I know what this is about. Okay, go ahead. We're done.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
I do remember this.
He also did some Night Galleries. He did Beware the Blob, the follow-up to the original Blob. I have got to watch this movie now. I just have to. But here's something that's kind of surprising.
Sure.
He was the narrator in Twilight Zone, the movie, the one that Steven Spielberg was a director on, and Joe Dante.
Vic Morrow.
Vic Morrow died during the making of, in the John Landis section of the film. So I had forgotten that completely. And he is the perfect narration type of voice. But he was also in a movie called The Manitou that a lot of people like.
What?
I have not seen before. That's on my list of shame.
Manitou?
The Manitou, I think it's some sort of Native American monster or something like that.
All right.
But surprisingly, our highest percentage is someone you may not even remember. Do you see the picture? Do you know who he played?
I know he played. He played the bookie, the guy who
he
Rocky
did.
worked for.
Very good. That was Joe Spinell. He's made 6 horror films out of 66 films, putting him at 9.1%. But he was the lead in the movie Maniac that a lot of people think is just a fantastic horror film. One that is on my list of shame. I saw the remake of it and thought it was okay with Elijah Wood in that same part. But I do hope to go back and see Joe Spinell's Maniac, which is very highly regarded. So that's our horror movie connection. And you know what comes next after
your rating?
This is my rating. As soon as I hit enough buttons over here, where do you think I'm going?
I was pleased to say that you enjoyed it in the beginning. Like you were like positive as you were talking about it.
Mm-hmm. And then I saw a mattress with a knife sticking out of it.
But still, you gotta think that's kind of good. I'm gonna say that you're like you're sub 5. You're a up 5, whatever that would be.
Yeah.
Like above it, you're gonna be like a 7 or an 8, 7 or an 8.
Okay. I came in, and you can see on my notes right here, Jeff, that I had a rating of 8.
Oh.
However, I have to say I've changed my mind thinking about this all week.
You can't change it once you put it
All
up.
right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can.
I'll change
Absolutely.
it. There we
no,
go.
no, no, no.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I have to admit, I kept thinking about it, and I'm like, I watched it. It's a 2-hour movie. I never felt like stopping a movie and reading some trivia about it, or stopping a movie and checking Facebook, or I powered right through the thing.
Look at that. I did good.
I will admit, when we finally got to the boxing scene, I'm like, oh God, I hope this just goes quickly. But I was like, just get her done, baby.
But when you know everything now that you know,
Yeah.
Isn't it cool that they choreographed everything? I mean, that's a whole choreographed thing. They're not hitting each other, but it looks so good.
Well,
I have to give them
do
credit.
you know how choreography started in the movies?
Mm-mm.
Well, luckily you have me here.
Of course.
It became big during the serials of the 1930s and 40s. You know what I mean by serials, right?
No,
Fruit Loops?
I don't.
No, not like
No.
Fruit Loops.
I'm not gonna say that.
These are the cliffhangers. These are the cliffhangers. They used to show short movies before the big movie. They're about 10, 15 minutes long, and it was a different chapter each week. And most of these were action things, big fight scenes and all this stuff. Well, Republic Studios in particular just churned these things out. And basically what they would do, let's say it was like a Western, they would tell each of the stuntmen, you grab that guy, you grab that guy, you grab that guy. And they would just grab each other and kind of jostle each other. So you would watch the fight scene and you go, this looks terrible. It was just like two guys dry humping each other or something.
Okay, all right.
It didn't look good at all. So finally, somebody wandered in from one of the musicals that were being shot there. And they're like, the problem also would be if they would punch or something like that, they'd get like one punch, two punches, but they didn't practice it. So they'd be out of frame, they'd be out of focus, all this stuff would happen. So a guy from one of the musicals walks through it, he's like, that looks like crap.
Really?
And he says, I know what you ought to do. You ought to like plan a couple of moves and shoot that. Oh, and then they started fight choreography. And that's how it started from what I have heard on AMC. And I trust AMC with something like
this. This is why we tune in for this, even me being here, because Tim knows so much.
I watch a lot of television.
Yeah, but you do. For all of us that don't, you do. So good.
Yeah. You know what you watch a lot of, Jeff?
Sports.
You watch a lot of sports. So it's time now for our sports break. There it is. Woo! Ha!
Here we go. This is wow.
What happened to the music?
This is
why did that happen to the music?
OWC Sports. I'm Jeff Miller for Otherworldly Culture Sports.
Now it's going.
And this is the sports that I know.
This is the sports.
I'm going to start out very, very pertinent right now, and then I'll move into some other stuff. The Admirals are playing right now. The Admirals are
hockey.
Yes, the Milwaukee Admirals are battling back against Coachella Valley Firebirds tonight.
Oh, isn't that a concert series, Coachella?
No. Oh, you're thinking of something else, but yes.
Okay.
But no, Coachella Valley, it might be. Coachella Valley Firebirds tonight at Panther Arena. It's game 4 of a best of 7. The Admirals are actually down 3-0. So they have to win tonight or they're done. This is the Western Conference Championship. So if they win this, they go to the Calder Cup Championships. It's stacked against them, but they've been up against the wall before. So let's go Admirals.
All right.
Now let's get into some Major League Baseball. The Milwaukee Brewers are off.
Oh,
thank God. They were swept by the Phillies, but are still in first place in National League Central. They head to the Motor City, Detroit this weekend to take on 3 games against the Detroit Tigers. The Brewers are 5 games over the second place Chicago's Cubs. Speaking of the Cubs, they handed the White Sox yesterday their 13th straight loss, which ties the White Sox franchise record.
How is that possible? They have such a great leader.
They do. The Cubs beat. The Cubs won. So somehow Craig Counsell did something. I don't even know. but they beat the White Sox. This is the 13th straight loss for the White Sox. The White Sox, if you remember, just got swept by the Brewers.
Right.
This ties a White Sox franchise record from 1924, futility record of 1924 of 13 straight losses. Think about it, 1924, last century.
Wow.
The Yankees, on the other end, have won 9 in a row.
Yep.
Pittsburgh has got a hell of a rookie pitcher. He just won his 3rd straight game. He's 3-0 this year. He beat the Los Angeles Dodgers last night. In the NBA Finals start tonight. The Boston Celtics take on the Dallas Mavericks in Boston. The Stanley Cup action, hockey. There is still no identity to the Edmonton Flasher. Do you know about her? The Edmonton Flasher?
No.
It's fantastic. The Oilers will travel to South Florida to take on the Panthers and start the Stanley Cup Finals. That's Jeff Miller, and I'm Jeff Miller.
That's Jeff Miller. Who's Jeff Miller?
And that's all the sports that I know.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Thanks,
yikes.
Jeff.
That wasn't.
That was a rough match. Oh, that put a smile to your eye.
That sounded so good in my head.
Let's make some merch money.
Let's make some merch money.
Okay, guess what, Jeff?
What?
We got a new merch commercial
Let's
this
hear it.
week. Are you
Let's
ready?
see it or hear it.
Are you excited?
I am.
Here we go.
Let's make some merch money.
I like it. Younger crowd. DDM.
Open it up, mosquito style.
Oh! For those of you that weren't with us last week,
Tim,
the Milwaukee Beers are the basketball
Tim,
team. What?
I gotta make those now.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh man.
They're actually available.
Where?
I found it when I did a search of basketball.
You know what? I'm gonna get one, and I'm wearing that next year to add.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm gonna do my panel with.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right.
Tiffany, be ready.
Yeah, that exists, everybody. That's out in the world.
What is?
Well, for all of us, Horror Realm is out in the world. That was a terrible segue.
That was awful.
But I did it
you should
anyway.
Let me do those.
I should, but it would take forever, like your reviews. So let's look at the clock.
Why?
273 days, Jeff. I can't wait.
I can't either.
I can't. And Rich hasn't given us any sort of special information or anything as to who might be the guests other than the two of us.
Right. Exactly.
So far, I am so tempted to just go out on his website.
Yeah.
You know, I got access out there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, just put our pictures up there as guests.
Well, are we gonna do a live show, a live remote show?
Jesus Christ. He's got one note. Did you hear it? Unreal.
Frankenberry.
Yeah, that's Frankenberry, baby.
What was your favorite cereal of those?
Blueberry.
Mine too.
Blueberry.
It has to be.
Blueberry's so good, but I love Count Chocula because he talks in the Transylvanian, and I like these. 1, 2. I love doing the count from the Muppets.
Yeah.
1, 2.
That sounds pretty good.
I thought so.
I bet you if you polled the United States, people our age, Gen X, and you asked them which cereal, I bet you it would be over 90% would be Blueberry.
But wasn't Blueberry the one that got him in trouble?
Why?
I think that's the one that it changed the color of the milk to such a radical degree that it was actually not healthy for people.
Are you serious?
Where is our chat room? Look that one up.
But here's the thing, though.
Sure I'm right about it.
I bet you that everybody checks Blueberry. Everybody because Blueberry was the last to the party. You know that.
Okay, Susie is challenging you to a live show. It looks like. I'm looking at this.
Okay,
you know what? We're gonna probably need security, so I'm glad Bearded Beauty.
We'll do a live show.
Because if you.
What's it going to be like? It's going to be like a rap contest, like we're going to be rapping, or what's a live? What are we challenge? Which challenge?
Wow.
No, she says a live show would be. She didn't say anything about challenging.
There was a challenge.
She just wants to do a real one.
I saw it.
You know what? Susie,
And you have 273 days to figure out what to do.
Here's the thing. If Tim
Jeff,
doesn't want
you
to do
have
the
to
show with
figure
me,
out-
you and I can do the show.
273 days. You have to sort this out, Jeff.
Yeah.
Get to work.
I'll sort it out right now. I'm
Get to
doing a
work.
show. It's
Oh
gonna be
my
it's
God.
gonna be Jeff
Oh.
and guests.
Oh my God, the Jeff show. First, he stumbles in from the local.
I didn't
That's
stumble.
the beginning of
I
the
did
show.
not stumble.
And whoa, why is it like this?
The local has the best food in Muskego. You got to say that. It's got to be
does?
said. It does.
It does?
It absolutely. 100%.
What's going on with those French fries?
You didn't like the fries tonight?
You didn't finish them.
I was full. I had so much.
I am totally calling him out for not finishing his.
There
French
was so
fries.
much meat on my. So I had a burger tonight, but I didn't have
You're
a regular
talking
burger.
about your meat.
I didn't
again
have a
on the
regular
show?
burger. I had a
Yeah.
burger with peanut butter, jelly, and bacon on it. It was fantastic. It's a local creation. Oh wait, Jeff Miller, sports fan.
Yeah.
Where's my email?
Where do you think it is?
Here it comes.
Do
Bring
you
it on.
know what it is?
It's Jeff at otherworldlyculture.com.
What does it look like? Like that?
Boom.
There
All right,
it
here we
is.
go.
All right.
Why am I looking for notes?
You
I
know
don't
what
have notes.
you know what I've been wondering all week?
Don't even say it. because
How
I'm-
long is Cujo?
You know what? You know what? If I didn't tell people this, they wouldn't know. All right, so
Or care?
so the movie that I watched was Cujo. You know, it's rated R, 1983. It's a 1 hour and 33 minutes.
There it is! There it is, fans! There it is!
Well, it's an hour and 33. Again.
Oh my
Tim,
God!
Again, Tim got it right in that sweet zone. An hour 30, or an hour 33, hour 30.
I didn't make the film.
I know, but you know what? If you think about it, a movie like an hour 33, that's perfect. That's almost perfect.
Oh my God!
Unless it's Rocky, then if it's 2 hours, then it's a 9 perfect. So, anyways, so
Perfect.
so we're gonna get to this movie.
You know, I took 1 point away for being 30 minutes too long.
Really?
No.
Okay, good. All right, so we're back to the movie. So this week I had the Steven Spielberg movie Cujo that came out in 1983.
The what movie?
The movie Cujo that came out in
The Steven Spielberg movie.
No, Stephen King.
Stephen King.
Yeah,
Okay.
Stephen King. Durr.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm Stephen King. I make
If
movies.
you also heard Steven Spielberg, please let me know in the chat.
So
Go ahead.
here, let me do my impression of Stephen King.
Okay.
I'm Stephen King. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm gonna make some movies out of my novels.
He's from Maine. All right.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the thing everybody knows about him.
No.
Yeah.
Well, then why was? Okay. Well, anyways. Okay, so I made a mistake. So here's the thing. That wasn't really Stephen King talking, because if Stephen King was talking, he would know he was from Maine and not Massachusetts.
Thank God he inserted that.
So-
otherwise, you would have no way of telling it wasn't Stephen King.
Actually, that was me doing an impression. So
Okay.
I poorly did that because I thought he was from Massachusetts. One of those states out east. You know, he was in a movie called Fever Pitch. He was in that movie, and that takes place in Massachusetts.
Okay.
He was actually a role in that
Fever
movie.
Pitch. Wait a minute. Did we watch that
No,
one?
you're getting next season.
Oh, boy.
Anyways,
Sounds like a
so
winner.
this movie that came out in
1983, Jeff.
1983.
Yeah.
It's rated R. It's an hour and 33 minutes long.
We
It
got,
stars-
We
it
got
stars-
that length in there
it
again.
stars-
Are you going to spell this one for everybody?
Cujo. Cujo. So, anyways, so it stars Dee Wallace, who plays Donna Trenton, Daniel Hugh-Kelly, who
Yeah,
plays
it's
Vic
right
Trent.
there.
I know,
There you
that's
go.
what I'm reading it.
Okay.
Daniel Pentananaro, who plays Tad Trenton, the kid, and then Christopher Stone, who plays Stephen Kemp. Now, at Horror Realm, we did get a chance to meet Dee Wallace and Danny. Could you just tell me how to say it so I don't say it wrong again? Pentanaro? Pentaro. We met him. We actually met him.
did.
We actually met him both.
They did karaoke.
They did karaoke, and actually Tim met him more because Tim did.
I spoke to Dee Wallace quite a bit. I didn't really get a chance to talk to Danny.
No. Well, yeah. So, anyways, but
Yeah.
we were there for.
I'm Craig Counsell. Yeah. I got this down perfect.
So let
I'm
me-
Craig Counsell.
Let me.
I'm a superior manager for the Milwaukee Brewers. Yeah.
He manages the Cubs now. Anyways, So back to the movie.
What, really? I never heard anything about it.
So there's a lot of pros and cons to this movie. There's a lot of Jeff likes and a lot of Jeff doesn't likes. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, and we're going to get right down to it right now. So this movie, Cujo, it came out in 1983. Anyways, so what this is about, it's about some infidelity. It's about a dog. It's about a kid that can't control his temperature of his body. So we got a lot of things going on. There's a lot of moving parts. A lot. So let's start with the first part. The first part really surprised me about this movie because
Was the kid Johnny Storm? What?
What? The kid couldn't control his body temperature. He goes into seizures. So here's the thing.
Please.
Here's the thing. So the first part of this movie where Donna Trenton, played by Dee Wallace, she's having an affair with the local stud, which turns out to be her old boyfriend. I honestly don't think that needs to be in this movie. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about this movie before I tell you about the movie.
Okay. So you're going to do a pre-review of your review.
Right. So watching this movie, it honestly took me 3 days to watch this movie because what are you doing? Okay. Nothing. So when I started watching it, I was getting bored and I'm like, I'm done. Then I started watching it again and I got bored. I'm like, And then my wife is like, Jeff, you got to see the scene where they're in the car. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Tim's probably going to talk about that. So I got to watch the rest of the movie. So I put on the rest of the movie and I watched the rest of the movie. But this is what I get out of this movie. I think that Stephen King, he does this thing. So there's this term now where you say mansplaining, where you over-explain something to someone. I think and just bear with me with this, I think he over-explains this movie where we have to see every little thing. It's just like, get to it. I mean, this dog's going to attack these people. He's got rabies, big deal. So here's the thing. I don't think she needed it. This movie would have been the same if she had the affair or if she didn't. She didn't need to have the affair. I think that was just so that he could get an hour and 33 minutes out of this. That part didn't need to be there.
Well, it's in there because at one point, the husband comes home, and remember what he comes home to? I don't want to spoil it.
Right. No, you're right.
But it's like... he thinks there's a different problem. He may not have came home had there not have been this additional layer of problem.
If there was never an affair, I'm not going to ruin any of this, but if there's never an affair, he could have been like, honey, I have to go to work, take the Pinto over to so-and-so's farm and get it taken care of. That could have still happened in this movie.
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
And this movie takes a full hour before the dog fully contracts.
Thank you.
Rabies. I forgot how much
there's a lot of
before.
Thank you.
Things happen.
Thank you. But I want to say something about the opening scene of this movie. So the opening scene of this movie where the dog gets rabies, and I'm not spoiling anything.
And that is the opening scene going right now.
That opening scene is pretty cool because how they did that, and I'm sort of cinema dumb when it comes to this, but it seems like it was sort of like it was CGI, but it wasn't, because how they have this rabbit actually jump through the meadow and then go through the log. How they do that?
That's a Hollywood rabbit. They trained it.
That was fantastic.
That's probably the only thing that rabbit does. That's probably
it. Are you just saying this, or are you just
no? Seriously, though, a lot of times, like I think there was more than one dog that they used. There was
4 of them,
and one was probably a dog that every time they wanted that dog to bark, that was a barking dog. And one, would run real fast, and they always find these different dogs that nobody can tell the difference from one dog to another. They look all the same. Like your Tango, it looks like every other dog I've ever seen in my life.
Here's the thing.
It looks like it could be a poodle.
But here's the thing. No, my dog is a sheepadoodle. It's part sheepdog, part poodle. But
right.
here's
it looks
the thing. What I'm saying.
Exactly like a poodle.
It does not.
There is no difference
it looks like a sheepdog
whatsoever.
But here's the thing.
It's taller than you, Jeff. But other than that, it looks like a poodle.
Here's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So here.
Okay.
So that opening scene could have been a cartoon. I get a cartoon feel of it.
Yeah,
right?
It does feel like a cartoon.
It does. I was amazed at that opening scene. That opening scene was pretty damn cool. Then
it feels like a Walt Disney.
It does.
Nature movie.
It does. It feels like Bambi. It feels like I'm watching Bambi in a way.
Yeah. It does.
So anyway, so let's get back to this. So So I think that there's a lot of points in
Hour,
here.
30 minutes.
That's how long this review will be. So there's some scenes in there, but I want to say that Dee Wallace, her performance in this is awesome. Her performance as a mom who's terrified, who's taking care of this kid who had this affair, she plays this. I think her role is fantastic, and if she could have been up for an award, she probably should have won. I think her job in this was fantastic. I really do.
And this is, as you know, you were at the panel, this is her favorite film.
I wish I would have seen this before that panel, because I would have asked her some questions about this, and they had been legit questions. But I think she did just an awesome job. And I put myself in that Pinto with that kid, and I'm like, that was some treacherous stuff. With that dog coming at that Pinto, I'm not ruining anything. It's treacherous. You actually feel anxiety yourself. So
well, and that kid, and this is Danny went on to do what was it? Who's the Boss? I think he was on, and he seems so incredibly vulnerable. You know, the kid just looks like he's made out of china.
Wait, were you talking about Cujo?
No, I'm talking about the kid.
Right, and Who's the Boss, or when he's in Cujo?
In this movie.
Okay, yeah.
He's so vulnerable. He seems like anything would break him. And then you send this freight train of a dog after him. And you're like, this is not going to end well. This kid couldn't, this kid could not curl a remote control in his hand. He'd be like, he just seems like he's got no strength whatsoever. And then you send a St. Bernard the size of a Buick over at him.
Yeah, and the way that I have to give the set people or whoever did that part of the...
Who picked the Pinto?
But that's awesome, because
that's the perfect car.
They had
for
the window in back, so it's like almost like an aquarium that you're in, and it was.
Well, that's why it gets so hot.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think I told you we had a Pacer. Yeah. Our family had a Pacer, which I'm sorry.
That's even more. It's like in Johnny Be Good.
Yeah, the Pinto is very similar with those big windows. That car was the hottest car on the face of the planet. It had vinyl seats. Literally, my mother had to have a towel in the car at all times so that she could touch the steering wheel, because it was approximately the heat of a McDonald's apple pie.
Yes.
It was like molten lava in your hands. Us kids, we would hate wearing shorts in there because your leg, there was like vinyl along the sides of it, and then it was like cloth in the middle part, and your legs would go over it. It was almost like you were putting it over an iron until we figured out the towel trick, but the first time you get caught with it, you're like, this is actually painfully hot in there. So when that kid is having like seizures and stuff, I'm like, I know where you are, kid. I know exactly where you are. You're in a frickin' Pacer. And it turns out to be a Pinto, which was a sad reveal. See, I think a Pacer would have been even better, because the Pinto has the Ford door, which has got the button and the pull.
Yeah.
Think about those crazy AMC things. Those are just impossible to use in any way, shape, or form. That would have really made it rough.
There's some really good jump scares in this. The dog, that's the best part of this whole movie, is the whole Pinto and the dog. I honestly feel that. Another part where they seem like they did too much, like they were just over-explaining stuff, is so he shows a postman in the beginning who says to go to this farm, and then they show him again saying, oh, the postman's going to go to their house, and then, oh, you really shouldn't go because this is pickup only. And it's just like, you didn't need that. It's just like they're trying, Stephen King tried to do too much to make the pieces.
I will say, there's like 500 things that have to happen before they go to the house to drop off the Pinto. And I'm like,
exactly.
It's just a broken car. Yep. And back then, and some of our viewers will know this, and I'm not just talking live, but some will know this and some just absolutely don't. Back in '83, cars broke down a lot.
They did.
And
they did, yep.
They broke down a lot, particularly the American cars. That's how Toyota and some of those got a foothold here, because American cars were not that good.
They weren't.
And you see this movie and you kind of say, Yeah, I know that situation. I've seen it. And, where she's turning the key and it's not starting. I think for some modern audiences, they're going to be like,
why not?
What's that?
Yeah, why?
Why I got a button.
Why don't you push the button?
Yeah, push the button and depress the gas pedal.
Why don't you
what's your problem, dude?
Where's your rear view camera? Why don't you see that? Why don't you see
camera
that?
fell
Why don't
over.
you see Cujo back there? But I really liked the movie, but I didn't like it. There was a lot of it that I didn't like.
Hold on, can we write that down as a quote? I liked the movie, but I didn't like it.
Correct. It's a lot like the Wisconsin, yeah, but no,
no, yeah.
But here's the thing, I think that the performance that Dee Wallace put in
is fantastic.
And it's awesome. And she was actually, I think she was married to Christopher Stone. Yes, she was. But I just don't think that his part needed to be there. I don't think there had to be an extra love interest. I think they could have done without it. But that's neither here nor there.
83.
I just don't think so because
during this period, Stephen King liked the bottle an awful lot.
So what was he? What? So
I believe this is one of the books. I know we got Stephen King fans out there. They can send their emails to Jeff at Otherworldly Culture. He reads them all.
I do.
But
you'll get a T-shirt.
Yeah, I believe this is one of the books where Stephen King says, "I don't even remember writing this."
Are you serious?
How would you like to have so much talent that you could write a best-selling novel and not remember it because you're just blasted off on Jack Daniels?
Sometimes that happens with me. Like tomorrow, I'll be like, I don't remember doing the show.
That's why we videotape it.
No,
and we send a link directly to your wife.
Are you serious though? He that's what he said. He said he doesn't.
I think this is one of them. I know that Maximum Overdrive. By that time he was on. Yeah, by that time he was on coke, and he says he has absolutely no recollection of that.
Oh, that movie's awesome.
That's the only time he directed a movie.
Oh, really? So he didn't direct this? He just
This
is just
he
a
wrote the book
adaptation.
That it was yes, and at that time, and I had the guts to say this to Dee Wallace. At that time, Stephen King adaptions were a pretty rough affair. They sometimes were good, but very often they were bad. In fact, Stephen King adaptions. I would say in the mid-'80s, a lot of people are like, enough of these. They're usually not that good.
Wait, what are you saying? I mean, because there's Christine out there, there's this, there's Misery. What are you saying?
There were a bunch of movies when they first started making adaptations of Stephen King's books.
Yeah.
Carrie everybody thought was great, but there were a bunch of them that happened, and... I don't know if it was because Christine is well regarded. Some of those you mentioned are well regarded, but there were a lot of them that people are like, "This sucks." Graveyard Shift, I can think of off the top of my head.
So you're saying because it was Stephen King, they're like, "Oh, let's do a movie," and it's just like they just did it just to do it. Right?
It's still true. Okay. Everything he writes, they try to buy it up.
Okay.
The only stuff they have not really adapted of his. And this is what's surprising is that whole Gunslinger trilogy. Was it The Dark Tower or whatever? Those books, and I say trilogy. I think there's about 30 of those books. They tried making one of them, The Gunslinger, into a movie, and it failed so hard. And I went to see it because... there's like 30 books on this. I'm like, this has got to be really good, right? Went to it. I wanted to leave the theater. It was so bad. And I never leave theaters. I've watched I watched Going Coconuts with Donnie and Marie Osmond.
Oh, my God.
I do not leave movies. And I was like checking, where's the door? I think I'm going to be utilizing this in a minute.
Do you have a favorite Stephen King movie? And we might
Salem's Lot. Salem's Lot. It's also my favorite Stephen King book. But it is not truly a movie. It was a TV miniseries, which means it isn't R-rated. It's very PG, but that movie and that book, it's the only book I can remember that I read. I was actually freaking scared. Only book I can remember.
Do you want to know mine?
your favorite Stephen King adaptation. It's going to be Stand By Me.
No, it's Maximum Overdrive. I just mentioned that.
Oh my God!
My favorite Stephen King book. I haven't read one,
now,
so
I will admit, Stand By Me is probably number 2. And that's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, well, it's not a horror movie.
It's not a horror movie, but Stephen King wrote the novella that one's based on.
Maximum Overdrive. If you want a 10, Tim, Maximum Overdrive. All right.
I don't want one that bad because that means I gotta watch it again.
Come on, Emilio Estevez, are you kidding me?
No, I love Emilio
right.
Estevez. I'll give you Repo Man.
I'll watch that.
I
used to repossess cars.
We know.
All right, so here's the thing. Let me wrap this up for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Cujo is an hour and 33 minutes long.
Shut up.
No, it's a good movie. It's a good movie if you want to watch a Stephen King movie. It's a good starter movie. Get into watching it. I just think it was very slow. Like I said, it took me 3 times to watch it.
Okay.
And that's legit. I mean, I gave it the best chance I could.
It takes an hour to get rolling.
All my points on this is going to Dee Wallace's performance.
Okay.
But that can't carry the whole movie. I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay, that's absolutely fair. I get that.
Yep. Dee Wallace got all those 5 points.
We did miss one thing.
Yep, you can pull this up.
There is a Polyshark conduction. What do you think it is?
You got to connect it to Dee Wallace, right?
Ooh, I wonder what I did.
No, Danny Patero.
I can't remember what I did. I did do Dee
Wallace.
Oh,
you did?
I connected her to Brendan Fraser.
Okay.
And Brendan, of course, was in Pauly Shore's probably most famous movie, Encino Man.
What was a Dee Wallace movie? I can't read that.
I can't either. What is it?
Just guess.
Extraordinary Measures. I don't know that I remember the movie Extraordinary Measures, but I did find it.
I found it. I'm going to stop. All right, that's good. Well, all right. So 2. All right.
Yeah. So
one.
Same. Well, it's the same amount of steps as Rocky. I sometimes look to try to make them the same. Sometimes I try to look for the most famous.
I want you to get shut out 1 week. Is that possible with Pauly Shore?
Well, we connected Lon Chaney to him. I was like, okay, this is getting damn near impossible to not be able to do in 2-3 steps. I think it was only 4.
It was
from Lon Chaney.
Let's do trivia.
Ridiculous. Do you think it's time for trivia?
It is time. It's time for me to get 5 more points.
Okay, here we go. Turn off your chat rooms over there.
My chat rooms are turned off. I'm turned away. I'm not even looking at you.
And you gave me 5, right?
Yeah, I did. So okay. I'm gonna ask you the questions first.
Okay, so the way this works is Jeff is going to say 3 statements. 1 of them will not be true, and the other 2 will be true. I need to identify the big old fat lie.
Okay, so this all has to do with Rocky, and it's all going to be sports related. So Tim, get on your sports thinking hat, and here we go.
This is going to be rough.
Sylvester Stallone was a backup running back for the Miami Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Weathers played a linebacker for the Oakland Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Burt Young boxed in the Marines and had a 17-0 record professionally.
Okay, the only one of those I absolutely know to be a fact is Burt Young, because it's such a ridiculous thing, and I found out it was true that they talked to Burt Young to find out if the boxing choreography made sense, because he was probably the most experienced boxer in the damn movie. So that one I know is true.
If you think that's true.
The other 2, I'm gonna guess Apollo Creed or Carl Weathers, that he was a football player.
Okay.
I remember Sly Stallone being very, very young in his early movie roles. No, yeah. So I'm thinking Sly Stallone was just out there trying to be an actor very, very early, because he played like Frank Nitti in some gangster movie I saw one time. He was young.
He's in a porn.
But I do know that Carl Weathers was like a background player in some movie that we even had. So he was out there a long time too. But I just feel like Carl Weathers looks more football-y, and Rocky's a little more muscle man-y type of look. So I'm going to go that the Muscle Man was just trying to be an actor. And it takes a long time to write a script. He can't be out there fooling around. I'm going to say that Carl Weathers was a football player making the Sly Stallone. I'm going to say that is false.
You get 5 points.
Oh, yeah.
So,
So
Sylvester Stallone did go to the University of Miami.
He did.
And he did try out for football, but he didn't make it, and so he went into the drama end of it.
I think I heard that Sly was actually like a genius. He was like 120 IQ.
But he tried out for football, and he didn't get there. All right,
really?
So let's do it.
Because the guy is put together.
Let's go.
He's a big feller.
I need to get.
And
I need 5.
He can really eat those eggs.
I need 5.
All right.
I need 5.
All right.
Let's go.
Now, this movie, I tried to go with some themes on it.
And I swear to God,
because a good amount of the people that are involved in this movie are Hall of Famers. They were involved in other films that we've covered on this show.
Dee wasn't she? Was she in something else?
Yes, but I'm not going to give you any hints.
Well, you
right
have to
now.
I
don't have to tell you nothing.
If it's a Hall of Fame,
we're
you have
in
to tell
trivia.
me.
The cinematographer.
Oh my God.
For this film, the cinematographer is the guy that ran the camera.
Durr.
Now he's just asking for it. The cinematographer for this film, Jean de Bont, was the cinematographer for Roar. The movie Roar. You remember Roar?
Oh, Roar, not War.
Yeah, Roar.
He was a cinematographer?
Would you let me get through this?
Okay, go ahead.
The director, Louis Teague, directed the past Bases movie, Alligator.
You suck with these questions. Go ahead. What's the third one?
The third one is this is the only movie where Christopher Stone did it with his wife, Dee Wallace Stone.
Now, do you mean did it or performed in a movie with it?
Performed in a movie with her. I'm sure they had a very rambunctious love life from some of the things that she says in interviews.
Tim.
They were knocking boots a lot.
I know. I got to think about this now. You got to give me a minute on this. Just give me a minute. So, all right. So, the first guy you're saying, the guy who did the
cinematography
did it for Roar.
Was the cinematographer for Roar.
Okay.
Louis Teague, the director of this film, not Stephen King, Louis Teague, directed this film. He also directed Alligator. Or this is the only movie that Christopher Stone and Dee Wallace Stone did together.
I don't know the
first. And they were married until 1995 when Christopher Stone passed away.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man. Would she have been in another movie with him? I would think that she would have been. I mean,
oh boy!
But
this is so sad, Jeff, that you're going to get this wrong again this week.
But then sad. You got to think about Roar.
I'm actually kind of crying on the inside.
Roar was just such a S show that I just didn't really pay attention. And Alligator was another one of those just movies. You know what? I'm gonna go with the only one that I could actually answer correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say that. But I would think they did other movies together because she did a lot of movies. Now wait, we're talking movies. We're not talking TV series. We're talking.
I'm talking movies.
Tim, I'm gonna say.
Jeff, the show is over by 14 minutes already.
I know, but it's a good show. I'm going to say it's brought to you by the local in Muskego, Wisconsin. I'm going to say that
It's not.
I'm going to say
I'm exhausted.
The answer that is false is that
What is false?
Just repeat the Dee Wallace.
Which one is false? Okay.
Repeat the wording of the Dee Wallace one.
The Dee Wallace one is, this is the only movie Christopher Stone did with his wife, Dee Wallace Stone.
So if it was false, it would mean that they performed in another movie together.
Correct.
So I'm going to say that is the case. So I'm going to say that your wrong answer, the false one, is the Dee Wallace one. Give it to me. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. That's how you think things through. Yes!
Unbelievable. It only took 3 hours. In fact,
yes.
one of those movies was The Howling, Jeff.
She was in The Howling. We watched The Howling. She was in there. So was he.
And so was he.
Why would you tell me that? That's why you didn't tell me that. I got it. Yes. 5 points, baby.
By the way,
yes.
Jean de Bont, the cinematographer,
yes,
also is famous for shooting the movie Speed. That was his directorial debut, was Keanu Reeves in Speed. And he was the director of a movie that we're getting a sequel for this year. He was the director of Twister in 1996.
We're getting a sequel of that this year?
Yeah, it's called Twisters.
Oh my God. Is there gonna be 4 cows going across the screen?
Louis Teague, by the way, I'll give you this because I know you're a fan of this franchise. Louis Teague directed the Dukes of Hazzard reunion.
Okay.
The TV movie where he directed it.
I love the Dukes.
I do too, but I'm like, the reunion movie?
I met Tom Wopat.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. It is scoreboard time, buddy.
Doesn't help. You had to get 0. Yeah,
I did?
I cannot win now.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I don't know. I think mathematically you are not eliminated.
I am eliminated.
If I went 0-0 and you got 15, I think you would
It's not gonna freaking happen though.
I don't know.
Well,
it could happen.
What's 15?
It could happen because
15
I've
gives
seen
me what?
Hellraiser.
5. No,
I've seen Hellraiser.
15 only gives me 91. So you win regardless.
No, I think you're still in it.
15 gives me 91. Do the math. You're smarter than me, and I figured that out.
I think you totally still have a shot, and you should come back next week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm Tim Crutchfield.
Here on well, let's tell everybody what we're doing next week.
I'm going to do a movie.
Okay, next week here on the show.
Yep, I'm giving you Sandlot. Sandlot is a coming-of-age kind of fun baseball movie. Some kids in the summer playing ball, and there is a St. Bernard in it. So there you go, Tim.
Of course there is. And I'm giving you the fantastic film Hellraiser, which is a family film. It's about a family. It's about a family that moves out to a new home, and they reconnect with their family members in a wonderful way. There's almost no hooks in it. It's really a great film.
I am not looking forward to this.
You shouldn't be. This is going to torture your ass.
Who names a movie Hellraiser? Who's going to watch a movie that's
His
about hell?
name was Clive Barker. He is kind of the British Stephen King, and he directed this film. He directed a number of his films because a lot of his books got adapted too.
All right.
Not as many as Stephen King. I don't think a single act. I don't think anybody other than maybe Shakespeare has had more of their stuff converted over to film than Stephen King. I would love our trivia fans out there if you could find out if that's true. Okay. So that's it for this week.
And that wraps up the season next week. So
yeah, next week is the big last, the last hurrah. The last inning. For the show. Last inning. Jeez. And then you get to go back to your life. I get to go back to my life until Labor Day. Because our hope is in the future that we maintain this to Labor Day to Memorial Day. We'll see, because we went way over this year.
Well, we had vacations.
We had some vacations. We had all sorts of things that came up. But
that's what she said.
That's and it's time to close the crypt and call it a game. Thank you all for watching. Remember to share and subscribe to our show and feed. You can find the show at otherworldlyculture.com and follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Pandora, iHeart, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and other fine places you find podcasts. If it's sports, it's a home run. If it's horror, run home. We're dead on the bases, and we'll see you next time.
Otherworldlyculture.com. HappyBirthdayRich.com.
Yeah,
it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Since
Rich just continues to get older. And
we all do.
No, I get younger. Look at me. I am still beautiful. It's scary, actually. It frightens me sometimes. I was looking at myself the other day in the mirror.
Uh-huh.
See, you know I'm lying. I'm a vampire. I can't do that.
I'm Tim. I'm a vampire.
I can't do that. you just don't listen, Joe.
So then how do you look at yourself in the mirror then? You can't.
This is my point. I was lying.
Is that why your hair is always so disheveled?
My hair is not disheveled. My face is just unusually smooth.
I can't find that t-shirt. I wish I could find that shirt. I don't know
find what shirt?
The one that's in that picture. I don't know where it is.
It's on your body.
No, not now. It's not. I don't know where it is.
Okay.
Anyways.
Well,
thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. And you have a great evening out there, wherever you are.